Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's get into today's reaction video.
Our sound recordist, Simi, was skeptical at first.
No.
He says that what he does is no more supernatural than an electric eel, which also knows how to harness its yin and yang energies.
Yin-Yang, positive and negative, and my positive from here and my negative from here. And we meet together, this can get like electricity.
So what he's talking about is the yin and the yang energy.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
meditation every day.
It's meditation.
Meditation every day.
Can you project this energy through your hands only or through other things as well?
Only my hands.
Only your hands.
Okay.
Like you can touch me.
Only the hands. Wow. In the last reaction video, I'm pretty sure I did, we talked about mudras, which are hand signs connecting the electrical circuit of the body. So fingers have the most electricity. This is why you're able to take the energy from your body, from the center of your body, from your gut, and move it up to your hand, to your shoulders, then your arms, then your wrists, then your hands, then out through the tips of your fingers and go zzz, and like zap somebody or send good or bad energy into them. This is all very crazy, and this is like the unseen world. It's a very real thing.
Like this, it's nothing, okay? It's my burn. Just like this.
What you have just seen is not a scene from fiction. The man appearing in those images is John Chang, a master of a very little-known tradition called Mopai, a practice that is part of something broader, internal.
I've never heard of the phrase Mopai, M-O and then space and then P-A-I. Never heard of it.
Alchemy.
I'm going to show y'all how I trade in 60 seconds or less. All right, so step one, what you're going to want to do is find your daily bias. So you want to find
internal alchemy, a system that has its roots in ancient Chinese Taoism, where it is known as Neidan, and that for centuries has sought to understand, refine, and direct the energy of the human body from within.
What the heck?
Then he asked for our newspaper.
Bro, I've seen this. You know what is about to happen, right? Somebody's gonna start a fire. Watch very closely. No. No! What is this black magic? What in the heck? Bro, that thing's really going.
For centuries,
they bowed
this knowledge remained reserved for a few.
Bro, they just bowed it. Yes, yes. I would just shit my pants, bro. What do you mean you bow to him? I'd be like, what'd you just do? What the hell, bro?
Transmitted from master to disciple within closed circles and practically inaccessible to the West.
But you know what I mean, right?
That is why images like the ones we have just seen are so unusual, as these practices are rarely shown publicly. But beyond the spectacular, the real question is another. What is really behind all of this? Where does this energy come from? And what could we come to do with it if we learn to perceive it and direct it? At the beginning of the 1980s, a team of documentary filmmakers ventured into Indonesia after hearing rumors about a healer with astonishing abilities. Their goal was as simple as it was ambitious: to record on camera, for the first time, the capabilities of John Chang, a master of the Mopai lineage.
Bro, why is it skipping? This is gonna get me so mad. I'm sorry, guys.
Who claimed to generate real bioelectricity from his own body. What they found left the witnesses astonished. Chang not only performed acupuncture by transmitting powerful electrical discharges through the needles, but he also seemed capable of igniting paper with his hands, moving objects without touching them, and even piercing a solid wooden table with a simple plastic toothpick.
What the heck?
So I invited a small group of scientists back from the United States with measuring equipment. to test if DJ was for real. And if so, where might this...
Hi, I'm Pirates of the Caribbean. I wanted to let you know I'm looking for my silver. What is going on,
energy
bro?
belong on the electromagnetic spectrum?
Years later, the team returned accompanied by a group of scientists who attempted to measure and analyze these phenomena using different instruments. They witnessed the demonstrations firsthand, without finding a clear explanation or evidence of fraud. However, after displaying his abilities on camera, something happened that changed everything. According to his own testimony...
No, bro, he just powered a little light bulb with his fingertip. What is going on?
John Chang was visited throughout an entire night by his already deceased master, who severely reprimanded him for having violated the strict taboos of his lineage. Deeply impacted, Chang made a radical decision: to cut all contact with the outside world. He disappeared from the public scene, forbade any new recordings, and withdrew completely, swearing never to show his abilities to the public eye again.
He probably had a stern talking to, but he also probably just felt like he didn't need to go down that rabbit hole and let people know. In the beginning, imagine me or you, we would be quite excited to go tell people about this, but there's repercussions where you're going to shock a bunch of people, and then people who don't want these things coming out, who gatekeep stuff like this, they're not going to be too happy, and those are some powerful shakers and bakers, you know?
And for years, nothing more was known about John Chang. His story remained shrouded in mystery. No new recordings, no public appearances. Until recently, when the actor Mel Gibson appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast, telling a story that was as fascinating as it was surprising.
I used to have a Qigong master. This is what kind of blows my mind about medicine and about ancient stuff. And
I saw this. He's going to say that this guy made him float. I'm sorry for ruining it, but you're about to hear it anyways. Made him float 6 to 10 inches in the air or something like that. And his ass was off the ground, bro.
I mean, he could like point at you, right, from this far away, and you'd feel it. But like, feel it like as palpable as someone pushing you around. It's like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
What's interesting about this testimony is that it doesn't describe a vague or subjective sensation. According to Mel Gibson, what he experienced was something physical, direct. He wasn't talking about imagining energy, but about feeling a real force, as if something invisible were interacting with his own body. And what's most striking is that, according to his account, no contact was needed. But what happened next?
That's what's crazy. That's why magic is a real thing. Magic is anything in the unseen realm that's real, that exists, but people are drawn. There's a side over here saying, oh, baloney, and there's the side over here saying, I've experienced it for myself personally, it's real. And then people in the middle who are like, it might be not. I'm like, those are the three sides you often get.
Was even more unsettling.
One time he was working on me, and he was working on my liver. He said, your liver's blocked, because he looks at you. And if you look at him, he looks away. And his wife engages you while he checks you out. And then he gives you a little body map, and he puts X's all over it. And you go, yeah, that's right. I got a pain here and a thing there. And, he knows where everything is. One day he's on my back, and he's pushing, and I can feel my back, and I'm at the wall. He hit me. He started yelling at my organ, at my liver, like, get out, whatever. And I went up the wall, and there was like 8 inches of air under my heels. And I was up the wall, and I was like, whoa. And I came back down. It freaked me out. There are other.
It's funny that he uses the word 8 inch. He uses the phrase 8 inches, and I said 6 to 10, and right in the middle of between 6 and 10 is 8. So I wasn't wrong. In fact, I was actually spot on.
Like it. Oh yeah, he's not the only one. He learned it from somebody, and I think he imparted some knowledge.
Now, I'm no singer, but with Suno, we can turn this vocal.
He learned it from somebody, and I think I think he imparted some knowledge.
To truly understand what we are seeing in cases like that of John Chang, or in the experience described by Mel Gibson, we have to stop thinking of qi as something mystical and start seeing it as what many traditions describe, a universal
that one
force.
really hit.
The ancient Taoists sought to uncover the origins of life and existence.
I got a good chin.
Through centuries of external observation and internal introspection, they came to the conclusion.
No, seriously, side note, I do have a good chin. I've been rocked by 3 people. I've been jumped, and they could not separate me from consciousness somehow. It's crazy. I don't like it. It's a bad thing. But at least I did not get knocked out cold, because that to me is like the emasculation of a man, you know? At first, I felt emasculated because I lost, but it's 3-on-1 with the 4th person setting it up. So technically, it's almost even 4-on-1. I mean, it's just ridiculous, like pathetic. You know what I mean? I can't deal with it, you know. But that's what got me in the door in a mixed martial arts gym, because I said, oh, okay, I don't want this to ever happen to me again. I'm going to start training. I have to learn how to hurt people if I need to. I don't like to, but I had to learn, and now I have learned.
That all forms of life were founded on a single principle, a kind of energy that animated them. For the ancients, qi was not just something that circulates within the body, but the energy that fills and sustains everything that exists. This principle is explained in Taoism through what is known as the 3 powers, or Sankai: heaven, earth, and human. The qi of heaven refers to the forces that act from above, the light of the sun, the influence of the moon, natural cycles, and even the radiation of the stars. Everything that, in one way or another, conditions life on Earth. The qi of Earth, on the other hand, is related to the planet's magnetic field, the energetic currents that...
Natural, okay? I listen to this frequency called 528. It's 528 hertz, okay? And it's like they call it the love frequency or something. They call it other things too. But I've seen a descriptor saying like the frequency of Earth. And I think they might say 432 is that or something, but 528 is also another one that grounds you, okay? And there's a reason why 396, 417, and then 528. 528 is the third one, right? Or is it? Is it? Yeah, I think it's the third one. So yellow, and it's bringing in power. I don't know. I was going to try to draw a parallel to the sun because the sun is yellow, but it doesn't make sense. Because I thought it was the 4th one up for a second, which would be Earth, because green, your heart center is green, like the planet Earth, like the grass and the trees. Anyways.
Run through the ground and the invisible patterns that structure the environment in which we live. And finally, there is the qi of human, your energy, a dynamic system that is in constant interaction with those 2 forces. From this perspective, the human being is not an isolated system, but a point of connection between heaven and earth, a living bridge. And this is where everything begins to make sense. What science today describes as bioelectricity could simply be a modern way of understanding that same phenomenon. A flow of energy generated through breathing and nutrition, but which, according to these teachings, can be directed by something even more powerful, the mind. That is why, when someone learns to cultivate qi, they are not doing anything supernatural. They are learning to regulate their own system and optimize that internal flow so that the body can function in the most efficient way possible.
That is when you can tap into spiritual forces. For me, I got in really good shape. I was training mixed martial arts a lot, 2 to 2.5 years in a row. And then I tapped into the sacred secretion for the first time ever. And it was because my nervous system was primed and ready for that to take place. And the reason it was is because I pushed my body to the limit regularly every day throughout the week. And the days where I wasn't at the MMA gym, I was at a regular gym pushing myself, running on the treadmill like a psychopath. And I wouldn't stop. I just kept going like, yeah, you know? And then you build yourself up like this until you're at this really high level of energy output every day. And that's when these inner alchemical energetic systems can actually take place and manifest in one's life. Now, I'm not saying, oh, go train MMA for 2 to 3 years and you'll be able to do what this guy does, because I certainly do not do that. But it might open the door to some other things like the sacred secretion.
Energy, understanding of energy is understanding of body and spirit at one time. Same things. Okay? And
What?
understanding energy is the guide.
Myoho.
Guide for you, the guide
Oh,
of
Michio.
life,
Michio
including
Kuti.
your physical manifestation and spiritual manifestation.
Ooh. The two polarities, I bet.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
The two polarities.
If Qi is the energy that connects heaven, earth, and the human being, the question becomes clear. How does it function within us, and how can we improve its quality and flow? The ancient Taoists explained it simply. Everything in the universe moves between two opposite and complementary forces, yin and yang.
Told you.
This ancestral symbol is not just a philosophical idea, it is a map of energy in action. It represents the moment when the original unity divides into two fundamental polarities, positive and negative, and shows how this duality shapes everything that exists, including the human body. The human body...
It shows all black in the background with a little white circle. What I take from that is that we are the pure white light, and there's darkness all around us, but we're able to illuminate and still be ourselves. Also, another meaning that I take from it, which is the meaning everybody takes, is that even though it's all black, there's still a little white. And then in the other one, there's all white, but a little black. So you're going to get a little bit of duality everywhere you go, okay? Maybe that's what that is. But on a deeper spiritual, internal, alchemical level, this is what they're about to be talking about. So let me just let them talk.
It's not just matter. It is the visible manifestation of something invisible, energy in motion. It is a living, dynamic system organized around a central axis, the spine. Along this axis, the Taoists identified three main energy centers, known as Dan Tian, or fields of
upper, upper, middle, and lower dantians.
The elixir.
This is common in Rosicrucianism and Rosicrucian practices as well.
The middle, and the lower.
Told you.
Upper and lower centers form a fundamental polarity within the body. The upper Dan Tian, located in the head, is associated with consciousness, perception, and subtle energy. The lower Dan Tian, located in the abdomen, is considered the center where energy accumulates and is stored. One defines the quality.
Why do you think Kundalini rising starts at the base? Because that's that lower energy force. Also, this is just one belief, is that they have three centers. Another belief that stems from, I think, another religion, Hinduism, I think, but the 7 chakras, right? Our 7 main chakras. Now, they believe there are many more chakras than just 7. That's why every time I type in something like the 7 chakras, I type the 7 main chakras. I type MAIN because they're the main ones. So I try to be a little more particular about my verbiage. But yeah.
Of energy, and the other the quantity. And
oh, you see that one in the middle? That's our freaking spinal cord, bro. Our spinal cord. We are instruments of the divine.
Both are connected through the central axis, functioning as a single integrated system. When these centers are in balance, energy flows smoothly, the body responds, and the mind stabilizes. When the balance is broken, however, energy begins to scatter. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern understanding.
Protect your energy, but not only that, learn to seal it so that energy stops escaping through these open holes in your orifice. Not literal holes, but like these energetic lack of barriers that allow energy in and out, but you're allowing too much of your energy to permeate out. If you're somebody who's exhausted every day, you need to learn some of these practices that we're going to be going over in these reaction videos. My goal is to get you and me to be more spiritually attuned and have more power in the spirit realm, you know?
The body can also be seen as a living electrical system. Each cell functions like a tiny battery, generating energy from oxygen, from food, and from the way we breathe. The body is in constant renewal. Millions of cells die and are born every day. The quality of this process depends largely on the energy available and how it circulates within us. This is not an abstract concept. It is part.
We are energy. We're made up of protons, neutrons, electrons, subababatrons. You know what I'm saying, right? And each one of those, there's energy freaking out on the inside. Most of them are empty, they say, like 99% empty. So we're made up of cells that are mostly empty. So does that mean we're empty? No. Okay, because we're made up of all these energies, the energy, singular. But people have different names for it: ki, chi, prana, just the word energy in general. And then there's more scientific terms that I'm not familiar with.
Of everyday life. Internal medicine.
Yep.
Since ancient times, Eastern traditions, Taoism, Buddhism, and Hinduism have conceived the body as a sacred laboratory, a microcosm that reflects the universe. While the West considers consciousness a byproduct of matter, the East teaches the opposite. Consciousness shapes form. Within us, every thought and emotion has a direct effect on the flow of internal energy. Fear, tension, or anger block chi. Calm, gratitude, and love restore it. Our consciousness acts as a quantum observer, collapsing infinite possibilities into the concrete experience toward which we direct our attention. Therefore, training the mind is also training energy. Each deep breath, each focused thought, each conscious act becomes a form of internal alchemy, a refinement in which the dense transforms into the subtle and the material into the spiritual. Science calls it coherence. Taoism calls it harmony.
Yeah, because you're taking various energetic systems within the body, within the confines of one body, and you're learning to link them up and make them mesh together and kind of work together for your benefit. This is the power. And then if you don't know how to do such things and you never want to learn it, you're going to be a little more closed-minded spiritually. You're going to struggle to understand the energetic systems within your own body. So it's good to explore these things and be open-minded.
And in both cases, the result is the same. When energy flows freely, the body heals, the mind clears, and the spirit rises. The human body is a reflection of the spirit, a node of individual consciousness that manifests in the dense planes of reality. Our essence descends from subtler levels, such as the planes of light or the astral, until it materializes in physical matter. Thus, the body is a projection of consciousness, a visible expression of energy vibrating at higher levels. This implies that, many times, illness is nothing more than a blockage in the subtle body, an interruption in the energetic flow that, over time, densifies until it manifests physically. True healing begins at the energetic level. By releasing blockages, qi flows again, and the body responds by regaining its natural balance. The flow of energy between the dantian constitutes the heart of Taoist internal alchemy, Naidan. When sufficient heat is generated in the lower dantian, as a result of the interaction between the fire of the heart and the water of the kidneys, vital essence, Jing, transforms into qi energy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh my gosh. So you have to take fire from what? The heart, and water from your emotions or something? I don't know, man. They got me lost on that part. I should have really paid more attention.
This energy rises to the middle dantian, where it merges with Shen, and finally reaches the upper dantian, becoming light or spiritual energy. The goal of Qigong and internal alchemy is to develop this process, to enhance energy within the body, increase the circulation of qi, and achieve harmony between body, mind, and spirit.
Yes.
The health and vitality.
That's the important thing, is they are merging the various makeups of our body. I don't know. I couldn't find a better word. Different things. That's a horrible use of words, use of verbiage. But anyway, so they're saying upper, middle, and lower dantian, and they're trying to bring them all about into using them together to make one energetic system out of three. And this is akin to the sacred secretion, where your cup runneth over, and the oil. The cerebral spinal fluid goes and your cup runneth over, and you have milk and honey going down the Ida and the Pingala, masculine and feminine, Joseph and Mary. Always duality going on within the body's processes, right? And it goes down and it looks like a double helix, goes down to the base of the spine, then it rises up. So it's the birth, death, and ascension of Christ. Whoa, that's crazy.
Of the individual depend.
By the way, when I say Christ, it's because this anointing oil was known as Christos. So Christ with the letters OS after Christos, Christ, Christos, and it's Christ. It means Christ or the Christ. So when they're calling him the Christ, they're saying he is going to be the risen one. He is going to be the Savior. He is going to be the illuminator. He is going to illuminate your body and help you to be filled with light. If thine eye be single. This is what in metaphysical circles, in alchemical circles, and people who are more of a Christian mystic, which means they see allegories in the Bible more than they see it being an actual story and that's it. Not saying that it couldn't have been real, because it probably is, and I agree with that. I'm somebody who believes that the Bible was literal, but that they also have intricately weaved deeper meaning into the Bible for those who truly have eyes to see and ears to hear, because that's how information's processed. We're either reading or we're listening, but it could be the same information.
On the quantity and quality of energy present in these three dantian. Furthermore, these energy centers correspond to the chakras of Hinduism, and the process of raising and transmuting energy is reminiscent of the ascent of Kundalini in the Hindu tradition, where vital energy is purified and elevated toward higher consciousness.
Us lightworkers have distinct nervous systems. We're wired differently. One important aspect of this reality is that our physical...
Where vital energy is purified and elevated toward higher consciousness. This is where one of the most powerful and accessible tools appears: breathing. Breathing is not merely taking in air. It is a way to influence the flow of energy and learn to guide it consciously. Anyone can practice this. Through specific breathing techniques, energy blockages can be removed, energy flow can be strengthened, and even deeper states of consciousness can be accessed. If the body functions like an electrical system, most of...
I'm sorry, but he's not lying. When you focus on meditation and you do it for months and months at a time, each night, regularly for an hour or more each night, crazy things can happen. Really crazy things. Like me, I activated the sacred secretion. It was incredible. It changes your whole life. You can't believe that your body is that intricately designed to do something like that, where it regenerates cells in your body, where it activates millions of dormant brain cells, where you attain psychic spiritual illumination and super consciousness. Quite honestly, transformative is an understatement.
Us operate with the battery at minimum. Not because energy is lacking, in fact, we are surrounded by it, but because we have never learned to generate it, store it, and make it circulate consciously. Some masters, like John Chang, seemed to demonstrate something extraordinary. In reality, what they had developed was a deep understanding of this internal system and the ability to regulate it at will. In this line, the work of Yang Jwing-Ming, teacher, researcher, and promoter of Chinese internal...
It's almost, you could say Qigong, but it's Qigong, I think. And welcome to Qigong, Shifu Zhe. Some white guy was like talking like he was Japanese in some infomercial thing, like some ad that popped up on my phone one time. And he's going, Qigong practices are very good. And then he said, Shifu Joe. I Shifu Joe? What do you? Oh, I'm sure his name's Joe, and I'm sure he grew up in China his whole life or Asia. I'm sure that's what happened. Yeah, and his name Shifu Joe, Shifu Bob, Shifu Robert. What are you doing, bro? Shifu Joe, get out of
For
here.
decades, describes this process as a progressive path, a kind of internal engineering that transforms the way energy
Sorry,
is organized
Shifu.
within the body. Everything begins with the breath, not a
Oh, Shifu
superficial or
Joe.
automatic breath, but a conscious, deep, and subtle process. In Taoist traditions, there is mention of what is called embryonic breathing, a state in which the breath becomes so
I just
fine
did it.
that it is barely perceived, as if the
What?
body were breathing by itself,
Oh,
returning
oh,
to its
oh.
embryo.
I've seen this. I've seen that. It's when you're breathing from your gut instead of your mouth and your nose. It's weird. Like this guy's gut was going up, down, up, down, up, down, and he was swearing that he was breathing. And he said that when you're in the womb, this is how the baby actually breathes. This is why we're able to contract our muscles so well. Usually, if you're like me, when I was like 8 to 12 years old, I had abs, bro, and I didn't work out. I just had abs. Some dude saw me when I was hopping in the pool one day and he goes, "Hey kid, you're pretty ripped." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks. I've never heard that because I'm only freaking 10 years old." But it was a nice compliment. And then after that, I never got into training at the gym until I was in my mid 20s. I never trained in high school and stuff. I just was ripped naturally. And it's probably because it's one of our first muscles that we're always using embryonic breathing. Wow.
Origin. As the mind descends toward the abdomen and attention stabilizes in the lower dantian.
It's funny that that's red, like they're acting like that's the root chakra. The root chakra is a little lower, bro. That might be the solar plexus chakra, or the sacral. So it should be orange or yellow. But yeah, the root chakra is around your package, if you know what I mean, or your butt hole. I had to pause so I don't say it because it's weird. But yeah, that's where the root chakra is. Then above that, below your belly button, is the sacral chakra. Then a little above your belly button, near your abs, is the solar plexus chakra. Then the fourth one is your heart chakra, throat chakra. Then number six, indigo children, third eye chakra. Then the crown chakra. A crown sits on top of what? A king, because you're connected to the king, Jesus. That's my little segue.
And energy stops dispersing and begins to accumulate.
Yes.
It is a process of gathering, of returning to the center where mind and body gradually unify, which in these traditions is described as the integration of spirit with energy, Shen and Qi. When this foundation is consolidated, energy begins to move naturally, giving rise to what is known as the microcosmic orbit. The ancients described this phenomenon as an internal circuit that runs along the central axis of the body, ascending
Bro, look at that map of the human body. The energy is going down on the left side, goes to the base, and then goes back up to the right. They're saying this is how the energetic system works according to their belief. Now, me, I think it does go down and back up, but I focus more on the one that wraps around your spinal cord going all the way down because that's what carries the milk and honey, and then you must return it, tithing, giving back, returning 10% of that energy that went down to the base of the spine, returning 10% of it up. It hits the brain, and that 10% that you thought wasn't as much, oh, it's everything and then some, because when it hits your brain again, it's amplified and powered by what? 1,000 times stronger. So it might have vibrated like this, and then all of a sudden it's vibrating like this, so that when it comes back to your brain, you're like, boom, and you get hit with super consciousness, and you're really tapped into source energy at that point. It's no freaking joke.
Through the spine and descending along the front. It should not be understood as a simple visualization, but as a flow that awakens as the system regulates itself. Through this circulation, blockages begin to release, and the body regains greater internal coherence. Over time, this movement expands and evolves into what is called the macrocosmic orbit. Energy stops concentrating only on the central axis and begins to extend toward the extremities, reaching hands, feet, and deeper tissues, and
Seeing this.
ultimately fusing with nature and the totality.
Now, I've seen a bit of a different diagram where energy comes out of the crown and goes back in through your root, which is where your package is, like I said. But this one, he's showing energy can come out of your fingers and then back up or down, and it can come in through your feet and it can come in through your head. This is because this model believes in the upper, middle, and lower dantian. And then extrapolated even further, you could say the head, the center, and the bottom, or your head, the center of your body, like your core, and then your feet, the heel, which is hell. But yeah.
At this point, the body is no longer perceived as something isolated, but consciousness expands beyond ordinary physical and mental limits, with the attainment of enlightenment as the ultimate goal.
That symbolizes, if you can read symbology a little bit, he's saying you must attain psychic illumination through matching your heart with your mind. If your thoughts and your emotions are not in perfect unison, forget about it. You're not even able to do it. And if they are in perfect unison, there's still a chance you won't do it. But at least that chance that you will do it is now introduced. Do you understand?
Now, this entire process does not occur immediately. These practices develop progressively, and what you are seeing here is a very general and simplified view, designed so that you can begin to perceive something from the very first moment. If you wish, you can try it now.
Early January of 2024, Riley was diagnosed with...
No.
Now.
Why is it always sad?
Step 1. Embryonic breathing. Sit with your back straight, relax the body, and gently place your tongue on the palate, closing the upper energetic circuit. Close your eyes and bring your attention inward. Begin by directing your attention to the abdomen, a few centimeters below the navel, in the area of the lower dantian. Breathe slowly, softly, and silently, without forcing the rhythm. Allow the mind to descend and settle there, as if all your attention were gathered at that point. If you wish, you can also maintain a slight awareness in the center of the head, allowing that upper attention to gradually descend and unify with the sensation in the abdomen. It is a natural, effortless process in which the mind and energy begin to align. As the breath becomes more stable, something that may require more or less time depending on your internal state and practice, you can gently begin to introduce the idea of the microcosmic orbit. Step 2. Microcosmic orbit. During inhalation, allow the sensation to descend toward the base of the torso, toward the perineum. During exhalation, let that energy ascend along the spine, following the path of the governor vessel, Du Mai, to the top of the head. From there, naturally allow it to descend along the front of the body, through the conception.
I already got hit on that long exhale. I already got hit with an energy transfer. My whole body feels like warm and awake, but very subtle. It's weird. I'm already feeling some difference. This is weird stuff.
Vessel, Ren Mai, returning once again to the abdomen. It is not about forcing the path, but suggesting it with attention, as if following a smooth, continuous, almost electrical flow. Step 3. Macrocosmic orbit. Before moving the energy throughout the entire body, make sure the flow in your internal orbit is continuous. If you already feel the energy circulating along the central axis, from the abdomen, up the spine to the crown, and back down the front, you can begin the next movement. With each exhalation, allow the sensation of warmth, vibration, or qi to extend gently from the abdomen toward the hands and the soles of the feet. Feel.
I think I did it a little differently because when I push it and I feel the stuff go up, it's actually cerebrospinal fluid being pressed up against the piezoelectric crystals. There's another word too for it. The crystals, rhombohedron, crystals that are on the outside of your pineal gland. and it tickles them almost like it's a bunch of antennas kind of like sticking out like these fingers, and it brushes up against them and it tickles it and it stimulates your pineal gland, and you feel it. You can feel like it feels like a buzzing or a vibration on the inside of your brain in a very particular spot. That's the pineal gland, my friend. Welcome to learning how to alchemize the body from within.
How it moves toward the center of the palms. Feel how it descends to the soles of the feet. This is a first step in expanding energy into the 12 main meridians of the body, beyond the central channels, contributing.
Speaking of meridian, you want to know who's the gangster of meridians, who's the OGs? Is Asia. I forget where exactly, but somewhere in Asia. Yeah, they're all about it. I think it's Chinese internal alchemical medicine or just Chinese internal medicine, and they use acupuncture. But why do they use acupuncture? So that they can target these meridian lines. They know that energy is not getting to you. Say you have a bad liver or bad kidneys, it's because energy is not getting there, or there's an energy blockage, or there's something. They know it's one of two things, maybe a third. But they can narrow it down even further by using this. Then they can say, okay, now I know for sure that your blockage is there. Now we're going to start to remedy it. It's brilliant. You know what I mean? I also heard recently that they did studies where they actually found meridian lines in a deceased human being, like they were doing studying the body, and they found the actual meridian lines. Not that it's some invisible thing that we think transports energy. It's proven now, I think, to be a very real thing within the physicality of a human vessel.
To balancing and vitalizing the entire energetic system. Once the energy becomes more palpable, allow this sensation to move more broadly, up and down along the meridians of the arms and legs, toward the extremities of the hands and feet, as if all the body's energy pathways were being irrigated by a continuous current. Do not try to force or visualize with too much intensity. The key is to accompany the sensation with relaxed breathing and attention, as if following the natural movement of the energy. Practicing these kinds of energetic exercises, together with meditation, in a conscious and consistent way, allows energy to expand beyond the central axis of the body, gradually connecting the main channels with the meridians of the arms and legs. This allows qi to flow more completely, bringing balance to both body and mind. Many practitioners report feeling more energized, vital, and awake, as if their body were more alive. They also begin to notice a deeper connection with their spirit, a sense of inner harmony, and a growing attunement with their own energy. Over time, these practices can help regulate the nervous system, promoting calm, emotional stability, and mental clarity. In the end, everything rests on a very simple principle. The mind guides the energy. And wherever attention is directed, the flow begins to establish itself. This is only the beginning, but it is enough to start directly experiencing how this internal system begins to awaken.
Very cool.
That's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching until the end. See you soon.
That is awesome. Very cool stuff, you know. Yeah, I mean, I'm just in shock from what is going on with all the energetic systems and stuff. I thought I was already tapped in enough because of sacred secretion, because Kundalini rising, because the energetic systems within the body. But I'm just starting to learn about this particular part of energy or an energetic system within the body. And I have heard of upper, middle, and lower Dantian, but this is just very impressive to me. But anyways, thanks for stopping by. I hope you learned something new. I know it's a lot to unpack, so maybe you tried to like focus on something and you got nothing. That happens to me quite frequently. It's okay. But just the repetition of wanting to learn and develop these neural pathways more in your brain is good for you. So that's all. Thanks so much for stopping by. Until next time, stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. It's been your boy Sigma the Stigma. Thanks so much for stopping by. Until next time, just know that I love you all. Peace and God bless. Any second. Peace, y'all.